We're going back to the Old Testament today, to the book of Exodus. All the way to the 31st chapter. Did I get that right? I'm sorry, it's not the 31st chapter. I'm sorry, it's the 20th chapter. I'm sorry. Lord, thank you for allowing us to be here today, and now hide me behind your cross. Let every word of my mouth and every meditation of my heart be acceptable in your sight, Lord, my strength and my Redeemer. Amen. It has been very clear to me for a while that there are people who always want to twist and turn and wangle and try to figure out what their way out is. And lawyers make a ton of money stretching and twisting and turning the law. The law is very plainly written. It's very laid out to an nth degree, but the lawyers will argue that is does not mean is, it means was, and it does not mean that, it means who, and all this other kind of stuff. And sometimes as Christians, we find ourselves in the same situation where we're not quite sure what means what, and the interpretation of this and that person saying, talking to this one about this, and he says, well, that means this, and this means that. And the answer to the question has always got to be, what does the word say? See, when you're driving down the street, the side street, it's not a big street, but there's a red thing, an octagon at the end of the red the sign, and it says S-T-O-P. Well, it doesn't say anything. You read it, and it means stop. Now, I have been told by numerous law officials that that is not to be interpreted. It is to be acted upon, meaning I should stop, not roll through it, not come to a slow down, look and see who's there and keep on going, because I tried that. Didn't work. He was off in a corner waiting for me to try that. And he said, didn't you see the sign? I said, yes, sir. He said, what did the sign say? He said, stop. I said, what did you do? I ain't do it, was the answer. Because the mere fact that you're stopping me tells me I didn't stop for it. When my father was teaching me how to drive, I had a problem with stop signs. I would roll through them. And so at that point, as soon as he sensed that, he would say, okay, stop. Pull the car over and stop. And we'd sit there. And then he'd say, okay, now go. And I asked him, what was that all about? He said, the sign said stop. And since you didn't listen to the sign, I knew you'd listen to me. And you're still not any further down than you would be. You didn't save any time. and now you're getting yelled at. And one more time, you stop driving for a week. So the sign is very clear, stop. Now, admittedly, lights are a little different. Back in the old days, I don't know if you're too young to remember this, but back in the old days, if you looked at the light very closely, you could see two letters on the light. The green light was not only green, but it said, go. That doesn't happen anymore. That's how old I am. I remember those stoplights. You saw those? It said, go on the green light. Okay, go. Now you got blinking reds that mean go. You got blinking red arrows that mean go. Up on Blue Hill Ave, coming off of Dudley on the bottom of Blue Hill Ave. It's a red light, and the red arrow will start blinking, and a sign saying you can go on that red arrow. My question is, if you want us to go on the arrow, why didn't you make it green? I'm still waiting on a reply to that one. Yeah, go with caution. Exactly. That was one of the tests on, that was one of the answers on the question, what does a red light, what does a yellow light mean? And one of the answers was step on the gas and get past fast. That is not the right answer. My father knew that because he said, that's the one I checked. He said that was wrong. Moses, go with caution is what it means. Slow down, look and see if you can go, and proceed with caution. Moses is speaking with God. He's up on the mountain. He doesn't know what's going on in his absence. He doesn't know that Aaron and Miriam and all the people had conspired against his leadership and have created a golden calf and are now gone back to their pagan ways. He doesn't know any of that. He and God are in one-on-one communication. They're in fellowship. And God is pouring into Moses that which he needs to lead his people, who at best would be described as stiff-necked and rebellious people. He doesn't know that when he comes back down, there's going to be a reckoning. But right now, he's in communication with God, and God and Moses are having a good old time. And sometimes when you're in communication with God, having a good old time, if you listen long enough, he'll say something that'll change your life. Chapter 20, verse 1, and God spoke all these words, saying. So immediately when you have a conflict, when you have a problem, when there is a ruling on the sports team, I know all my sports people are here today, and ultimately when there's a ruling on the play, I listened to them on the Super Bowl, they said, what does the word say about this play? If the knee is down before the ball hit, if he's got control of the ball and the knee hasn't touched the ground, the ball is still in play. As soon as the knee goes down, the ball is ruled dead. That's the words. So everything has to be judged and based off of what the word said. And God said to Moses, I am the Lord your God who have brought thee out of Egypt. In other words, you have to understand who I am and what I've done for you. Now, we've all had situations where somebody over us has told us what they've done and we didn't like it. We think they're throwing it in our face. But the reality of it is this is who they are and this is what they did. He said, I am the Lord your God, and I have brought you out of Egypt. You were in bondage. You were a slave. You were being held captive. You were praying and asking for a deliverer. Help me, help me, help me. I, the Lord your God, did that. I have brought you out of Egypt. I've got you now where I want you, in a place where you can be in communication with me. Thou shalt have no other gods before me. Now you would think you wouldn't have to say that, because all those other gods kept them in bondage. So why would you be worshiping and talking and praying to a God that keeps you in bondage? How many times do you have a friend, you see a friend, I know it's not none of us here, who would be on Friday evening after cashing their check off to the liquor store? And you're thinking, what are you doing that for? I've worked all week. I deserve this. That's the stupidest thing I've ever heard in my life. And I've heard a lot of stupid things. I've even said a few. You've worked all week, and how you're going to celebrate is by destroying your body, altering your state, thereby causing you maybe to get into more trouble. It's the dumbest thing. I deserve this. My question to you is, if all those other gods who you were worshiping when you were a slave didn't do a thing for you, why would the God who brings you out have to tell you not to worship any other God? You would think this is self-evident. I'm strong enough to get you out of that situation. Why would you even consider? We call that dancing with who, what brung you. Yeah, that's an old down-home saying that I picked up in Cleveland. In other words, I'm taking Sister Wendy to the dance. This is before either one of us are encumbered. And I have picked Sister Wendy up. I've rented a limousine. I'm wearing a tuxedo. She's dressed up in her finest finery. And we go into the dance. And I'm happy to have her on my arm. And the very first dance, she goes over and grabs Deacon Horn and starts dancing. That's not going to be good. Because Sister Deacon Horn is going to have a problem. Have a fit. And I'm not going to be too happy either, because I didn't spend all this money and got all dressed up and put on the dog, as they say, and she run off and dance. Dance with who, what brung you? You were in slavery, you were in bondage, and you were praying to all these other gods, and then I come on the scene and I get you out of slavery. I pick you up and I clean you up and I put you in a position where you could be safe, warm, and basically free, and you're going to worship another God. Don't do it. And I shouldn't have to tell you not to do it, but I want you to understand, what does the word say? Don't have any other gods before me. And just in case you're a lawyer about it, just in case you want to go out and say, but who? Don't even make any graven image. Now you would say, well, this is 2018. We don't have any graven images. See, one of the things I love about people, when they get good stuff and they understand God give it to them, they don't worship it. Because as soon as you start worshiping something, that becomes your graven idol. It can be the biggest, brightest, or whatever it is. As long as you're worshiping it, you're not worshiping God. Don't do it. And he is really specific. Don't make any graven or carved, is a better word for an image, or any likeness of anything that is in heaven above or in the earth beneath. So that means all these pictures of angels and all these pictures of demons, I don't know if the word agrees with that. What does the word say? Don't make unto thee or any likeness. In other words, don't create a picture of something and call it God and start worshiping it. So is it okay to have a picture of an angel? Yeah, it's fine. Are you worshiping it? There's a problem. See. or in the water or under the earth. In other words, what he's trying to tell you is that there's no wiggle room on this. Don't look to see where you can, W.C. Fields used to read the Bible every night before he went to bed. And some of his friends said, well, wait a minute, W, we know your lifestyle. We know what you do. We know who you do it with and how much you do it to. Why are you reading the Bible every night? He said, I'm looking for loopholes. There aren't any. You ain't going to find none in the Bible. And I don't believe him, by the way. I believe that he was looking for the answers and the truth. That's why he was reading it. And thou shalt not bow down thyself to them or serve them, for I, the Lord thy God, your God, my God, am a jealous God. Not was a jealous God, not could be a jealous God, not somebody that thinks about he might have to kind of be. He said, I am a jealous God. And we know that this phrase, I am, is very important to him because he uses it. He brings Moses' remembrance back to when he said, who should I tell him sent me? And he said, I am that I am have sent you. So when he's talking about I am, it is the total encompassing of God. And God, he said, I am totally, completely jealous and will have no other gods before me. And just in case we think, once again, that that's too restrictive, we all are the same way. We don't want to have other things before us. If we're the best in your life, we want to be the best in your life. So we can understand it on our human level. Take that and magnify it because that's God's level. Don't have any other thing before me. You don't need it. That's the beauty of it. That's the thing that they don't want to tell you, all this extraneous stuff. If you got, how many cars do you need if you got the car that's doing what you need it to do? Seriously. Deacon Horn's a wise man. He got one truck. Why? Because that truck does what he wants it to do. It's enough. If it ever stops doing it, he'll get another one truck. You only really do need one pair of shoes that works. Now, don't say that to the women. Don't say that to the women, because y'all have a whole hierarchy of shoes that work. I was in Payless Thursday. I was trying to find myself some shoes, and I was watching them sell the shoes to the women. And I don't know how y'all do it. Everything is categorized and laid out, and this shoe goes with this time for this moment, and this shoe goes. I don't understand it. Can I put it on my feet, and does it fit? See, I put them on my feet, and they fit. I bought them. I'm good. You have to coordinate. Yes. I was in and out of there in 7 minutes. Yeah, y'all ain't even getting good into the store in the first 15. You need 70. And he says, now understand something. If you let this false god into your life, into your house, if you let this thing kind of get its way in, it's not going to just affect you, but it's going to affect you and your children and your children's children, because once you let Satan in, when you let him ride, he wants to drive. So the easiest way, what is the best way to, what's the first rule for dealing with the devil? Don't. That's the first rule. Someone calls you up, yo man, listen, I'm a little short, but I got this lottery ticket and it's worth about $75, but if you give me 50, is yours. Now, that's not so hard because anybody can cash a lottery ticket. But let's get more specific. Back in the day, there used to be something called food stamps. They're still around? Now, Deacon Cole won't tell you this, but I'll tell it. The ratio for food stamps is 2 to 1, isn't it? If you sell them, yeah, see? So if you got $200 in food stamps, you got $100 in cash. Now they give you a card. So the con has gotten even more elaborate. They still sell them off the card if you got a legitimate card. But 9 out of 10 times when that person sells you that card, he's off and gone. And you in there trying to buy something, ain't nothing on the card. The first rule for dealing with the devil is don't. And when you let Satan in, say, a little leaven leavens the whole loaf. How many of you want to eat an apple that's got only one wormhole in it? So don't tell me it's just one. Because it's one wormhole. You don't want to eat that apple. And showing mercy unto the thousands of them that love me and keepeth my commandments. In other words, I'm letting you know that as soon as you get it in your head that you're going to do the right thing, I'm going to show you mercy. And that mercy is going to come in the form of what you need when you need it. I've heard many explanations for mercy. Let me give you mine. Mercy is getting one less lick than you deserve. So if you're supposed to get hit 6 times and you get hit 5 times, that's mercy. I realize that that's a real crude one. How about this? Mercy is not even getting what you deserve. Because, see, I'm told and I understand that we're all sinners. And unless we're saved by grace, then what we deserve and what we need and what we're owed and what is proper and what is just and what is coming to us is death. But thanks to the mercy that allowed a Jesus to come on the scene and bear our stripes and bear our burdens and take our sin, because of that mercy, we get one less than what we deserve. So God says, even in the Old Testament, he's setting the premise up. He said, if you follow me, if you love me, if you keep my commandments, I will show mercy to you. And I understand this, and let me tell you, be very clear about this. He doesn't just show mercy to you, but just as he's willing to visit that iniquity down to generation, his mercy will travel down generation to generation. Some of you people, some folks are living in your house saved and protected right now because of your prayers. Some people are getting by and they haven't lost their job because of your prayers, because God is showing mercy in your life and they're standing in what they call the fallout zone. That's the zone I want to be in. If Deacon Cole is being blessed, I want to be right there next to him. Because some of the blessing might fall on me. He get blessed with a $50 gift, and he, come on, let's go out to dinner and take us all out to dinner. That's a blessing. Huh? You need more than 50. Boy, am I old sometimes. Remember, $50 was a good meal? You can't even walk in the legal seafood with $50 nowadays. They won't even let you in the door. Yeah, they won't even let you in the door. Thou shalt not take the name of the Lord thy God in vain, for the Lord will not hold him guiltless that taketh his name in vain. It's quite simple. Stop swearing. Stop swearing to, stop swearing by, stop swearing through. Stop it. Let your yes be yes, and your no be no. And be known for telling the truth, whether they like it, don't like it. So when you open your mouth, people listen because it's going to be the truth. And you don't have to swear if that's the case. Because I have learned as soon as they start with, I swear, you're lying. On my mother's grave, mother sitting up at home watching TV. You're lying. Stop it. Remember the Sabbath day to keep it holy. This is probably one of the, you would not think this to be the most controversial, but this particular one has gotten so much play. Remember the Sabbath day to keep it holy. Notice it doesn't say, remember Saturday, which is the Sabbath, to keep it holy. It doesn't say that. Yeah. It says, remember the Sabbath day to keep it holy. And just because some of the New Testament, the New Covenant Christians were having an issue with that, he said, listen, don't get it twisted. Every one of us needs a day of rest. Every one of us needs a time when we can just focus on ourselves. And on that time, that's your Sabbath. Keep it holy. Don't work 7 days a week, 24 hours a day. You got nothing left. Sit down and shut up and relax. Watch some TV. Go over Deacon Horns. You got a beautiful TV. He'll sit there and watch it with you. You got one too? Okay. You got a smart TV. I got a smart TV. I'm a dumb owner, but I got a smart TV. Well, I'm glad you didn't say that. We don't want to cause no rancor up in the ranks here. Remember the Sabbath day to keep it holy. That's simple. What does the word say? Find some time to be with God and let that time be you and him. Let it be sacred. Let it be all fulfilling. Let it be just you and the Lord, whatever that day is, whatever that time is. Because it's really clear, 6 days the Lord made the heaven and earth and the sea and all that is in them, and rested the seventh day. Wherefore the Lord blessed the Sabbath day and hallowed it. In other words, if God himself is smart enough to take a day off, what is wrong with your dumb anyway? Take a day off. What, you better than God now? You work in 7 days? He worked 6. He built all of this. He did it in 6 days. Take some time off. And while you're doing it, remember God. Relax your mind. Put on earth, wind, and fire. That's my brother over there. He knows them. And don't force your people to break the law with God. You got people working under you. Don't have them working 7 days a week. Give them a day off. Tell them, don't come in. I have a friend of mine who runs a shelter, and very compassionate. Very compassionate. She understands that your workers need time off. And if she looks at their records, she sees they're working too much. She said, look, you're working too much. Take a day off. Don't worry, your job will still be here when you get back. Because bosses will tell you that a lot of people are afraid to go on break and go on vacation and stuff because they're afraid when they come back, the job is gone. Yeah, take some time off. You need it, because when you take some time off, you have a chance to revitalize. You have a chance to free yourself and to purge all that negativity and nonsense and get your head screwed back on straight. So when you come in the next day or whatever the day is, now you're fresh and ready to go. I get that way. Luckily, thank God, Pastor Faith tells me, no, your work take. We got this. Take some time. because I worked myself right into the ground. No, stop that. I got this. You need that in your life. You need someone to tell you you're working a little too hard. Take a step back. Honor thy father and thy mother, that thy days may be long upon the land which the Lord thy God hath given thee. Honor thy father and thy mother. The good Lord said you got to honor your father and mother. He never said you had to like them. But you got to honor them. I don't care what lifestyle mommy's living. I don't care how you got here. I don't care what she did to get you here. Mommy is still mommy. And the fact that she went through what she went through and put you on this planet, that is to be honored. I don't care what daddy's issues are. If he's raising you, that's daddy. And I understand that you don't think he gets it. I understand that you think he's a big moron and he doesn't understand the ways of the world. He's not hip, he's not down, he's not whatever. I get all that because I said all those same things myself. I was wrong then and you're wrong now. Honor your father and your mother. And the Bible is very clear, so that your days may be long. Thou shalt not kill. In the movie I, Robot, when Will Smith is questioning the robot, Sonny is the robot's name. He tells Will, my name is Sonny, because Will had been calling him Canner, which is akin to what you think it means for everybody else. It was a derogatory tone. He said, my name is Sonny. So why did you kill the professor? Why did you kill the professor? Sonny finally screams, I did not murder him. And he slams his fist down on the table, and Will says that one's called anger. We come to find out, spoiler alert, we come to find out that Sonny did not kill the doctor. Did kill the doctor, but he did not murder him. Because murder is taking of a life in anger for no apparent reason. So we have to be very careful. Some people take this to the 8th degree. They say, I'm not killing anything. I'm not killing anything. I'm not even going to, not only am I not killing anything, I'm not going to wear animal skins. I'm not going to participate, all this stuff. I'm not going to do it because that was murder for somebody. Please. Thou shalt not commit adultery. Know a preacher that was going through this same sermon, and he was because somebody had stole his bicycle. So he asked the deacon before service, what do I do to get my bicycle back? So the deacon said, well, you preach a sermon on the 10 Commandments, but when you get to that one about thou shalt not steal, you hit it hard. And you just work it. I guarantee your bike will come back to you. So during the sermon, he gets to the point where it says that, he said that after the service, he said, Pastor, I was waiting for you to really nail that thou shalt not steal. He said, when I got to the thou shalt not commit adultery, I remember where my bike was. They got a new pastor the next week. I don't know why. Thou shalt not covet thy neighbor's house. Thou shalt not covet thy neighbor's wife, nor his manservant, nor his maidservant, nor his ox, nor his ass, nor anything that is thy neighbor's. And if Hollywood would have one goal, if Madison Avenue would have one goal, if Wall Street would have one goal, it would be that you never read or understand what I just said. Because I can't sell you something if you're not looking for something. If you don't want what somebody else has, I can't sell you a doggone thing. If you're comfortable with everything you have and it's doing what you need it to do, I can't sell you nothing. If you understand that God is the author and finisher of your faith, if you understand that God provides your blessing and God will give you everything you need, if you understand the Holy Spirit works within you, I can't con you. I can't cheat you. I can't trick you. But as long as you covet, as long as you're not convinced that God has given you everything you need, as long as you think within yourself that there's something that you're missing that God can't give you or won't give you, I can sell you anything. I can con you, I can rob you, I can cheat you. I can have everything you want in a matter of... There were two brothers. And when the father died, he divided the flock up evenly. Gave brother A 50 cows, gave brother B 50 cows. And the two brothers were angry because father always liked me best. And father promised me that when he died, I would get the most. So the two brothers went to the lawyer. And the lawyer took the case. The lawyer's son said, "But Daddy, this was a perfectly even split, 50-50. Who is going to get the cows?" The lawyer said, "We are." Because as long as you think that God is holding something back from you, as long as you think that God doesn't have your best interest, as long as you allow the devil to get in your heart, in your head, in your mind, and show you that there's something out there that God won't give you because he doesn't like you. As long as you do not trust God, the devil has you. So in conclusion, when we get confused about who we are, whose we are, when we get confused about where we are, why we are, and what we are, and how we can do it and how we shouldn't do it, when we're not sure and we want to twist this and turn that, if we want to find a loophole, if we want to live our lives the way we want to live it and change the scripture to fit us, my question to you this morning, my question would be to me when you call me and ask me about this: what does the word say? Amen.
Amen, amen, amen. At this time, I'm going to open the doors of the church. If you are not a member of New Bethel Baptist Church, now is the time for you to come forward and give your life over to God. Now is the time to make a declaration that the Lord is my shepherd. Talk about what the word says. The word says the Lord is my shepherd. Now is the time to come and be a part of this brand